What a week in sports, right? The NCAA championship game, won by a local 5, baseball's opening day, and the Masters. This week, we have and will have talked about all of it. Today, it's golf. A tradition like no other tees off Thursday, and on today's SportsBeat KC, the Kansas City Star Sports podcast, we talk Masters with Garrett Johnston, who's in Augusta covering the event. It's Wednesday, April 6th, and I'm Blair Kerkhoff. There are plenty of storylines heading into the event. No Phil Mickelson, Tiger Woods is there, and all indications are that he's playing a year after that devastating car accident. But our focus today is on a local product, Harry Higgs, who's making his Masters debut. Higgs is a 30-year-old who calls Dallas home, but he grew up in the Kansas City area and went to Blue Valley North. He battled his way through the Korn Ferry Tour and qualified for the Masters by finishing 4th in last year's PGA. Higgs is quickly becoming one of golf's most popular players. He's a big personality. Yeah, that was him who hoisted his shirt at the Waste Management Phoenix Open earlier this year. At BV North, Higgs was voted most likely to brighten your day. He'll brighten yours in a conversation he's had with Johnston that you'll hear after a break. Garrett interviewed Higgs on his Beyond the Clubhouse podcast. But first, Johnston and I discussed the Masters. Did you know Tom Watson is an honorary starter this year for the first time? Okay, let's get started. Our guest today is Garrett Johnston, and we are going to talk golf on SportsBeat KC. It's Masters Week, the 86th Masters coming up on Thursday. In full disclosure, Garrett and I are having this conversation on Sunday night, so don't blame us if news happens over the next few days that we do not discuss. So, Garrett, it's great to have you on SportsBeat KC. How are you?
I'm good. I always get a couple extra years of energy just being at Augusta. I mean, it's a special thing as any journalist, as any storyteller, to be able to walk the grounds and just soak it up. It never, ever gets old. So it's just sports fans' mecca, man. It really is. And it really, when I say sports fan, this is that 1 week of the year where it doesn't matter if you're a golf fan or not. You are watching the Masters. It's on ESPN. It's on the biggest networks. And we got Tiger and Phil. Tiger.
Right. Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to the field here in a moment.
Not in the mix, but yeah.
And you've been to Augusta more than once. This is 8th or 9th trip down there for you, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. 9th trip. 2013 was my first one, and my story's always been grow with the rookies, right? Document this moment for them because it's never going to be the same. Like it's only going to be like this once for Harry Higgs, right? Your local there from Kansas City area. You know, the emotion for him, for his caddy brother, Alex, for family. And it's a cool thing to be able to document that, right? Because Lord knows these careers go by so quickly as Tom Watson's has gone by, and now he's an honorary starter for the first time this year. So like it's amazing how time marches on, but you do your best to document it. Right.
So we've got two of those local angles at the Masters. We'll talk about both of them. Let's start with Harry Higgs. What a fun guy he is. Now, you've spent some time talking with Harry and others about Harry, and it's part of your podcast, and that Beyond the Clubhouse podcast that we will link to, and I'm really looking forward to hearing it. We'll actually have an excerpt of it after a break that we have in our conversation today, but what did you find out about Harry Higgs, the Blue Valley North product, who went to Southern Methodist for college? So went from BV North to SMU and qualified for the Masters by finishing 4th in the PGA last year, tied for 4th. An incredible accomplishment for Harry Higgs, but must have been a fun conversation because he is a fun guy.
Big time. Yeah. Harry he just exudes like excitement and appreciation for where he's at in his career. And it's amazing. Like I would say that what my takeaways from talking to him were just the sentimentalism of what this represents, right? We hear all the time, okay, first Masters for a rookie, a Masters rookie. What does it mean? You must have had a putt that said, hey, this is for the Masters when I was 8 years old, right? He literally had a competition with his brother Alex, his younger brother Alex, his good friend, one of his great friends from high school, Corbin Keene, if I'm pronouncing that right, and Devin McCarthy, who is actually staying with him this week. Him and his brother Alex, they're the three of them, like old times, right? When they're 8-10 years old, they would have a putting contest on the Nicholas Golf Club at Lionsgate, and it was a 18-hole contest, right? It was only 3 different tees, but you play them 6 times to get 18 holes, and the first matchup was always the Masters, right? And Alex Higgs told me that, hey, we're going to play all 4 majors, but the one that everybody wants to win is the first one, which is the Masters. So they would go on to do the PGA Championship and all the others, right? The British Open, and everything would be unique in the way they set up the putting green and the holes and the challenge. But these are kids that love the game, and that's for Harry Higgs. It really paints a picture of what this means to him this week. He told me the most excited he is for Monday, which in our case right now is tomorrow, for his mom to see this course for the very first time, Blair. That's what he's really looking forward to the most. He got a chance to play it with his dad and also with Alex a couple months back. It was a lot softer. It was obviously winter. So this is a special thing where he knows there's so many sacrifices made by his parents, and now it's time for his parents, Mike and Denise, to really soak it in this week as they watch him.
Oh, very cool. The Nicholas Golf Club at Lionsgate is the former home of a Web.com tour. Of course, now it's the Corn Ferry Tour. And it's on 143rd Street in Overland Park, Kansas. So, yeah, that makes sense that would have been something of a home course for Harry Higgs. Now, to be honest with you, I didn't know about Harry until that moment at the Phoenix Open earlier this year when the top came up on Harry. I knew who Harry Higgs was, and I knew he had the great PGA finish, but I kind of lost track a little bit. And then the Phoenix Open happens, and he has this snapshot moment that maybe only happens at that event. Of course, he rolls in a putt, lifts his shirt up, and shows the crazy crowd his just flashed him for a moment. And what did you make of that? And I think it speaks to just who this guy is, how much fun he has playing golf, and he's a big personality on the tour.
Yeah, no, what I made of it is that it shows his personality, and it shows that he doesn't mind playing along, right? There are a lot of pros that don't mind just falling into the mold of being a vanilla PGA Tour pro, where it's just you don't show any emotion on your sleeve. You just kind of, I'm not trying to say everybody's blah, 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 but it feels like 50 to 60% of the players just kind of, whatever. There's just not a lot to him. And in the case of Harry, I asked him about that, taking the shirt off. And he said he felt like it was necessary to play along, like it was not his idea. He was being prodded on by the people there. And he was okay with it, right? He was just going to have that little moment and whatever. Give the people what they want. Basically, he's a man of the people. That's Harry Higgs. And I think what's really cool is I asked on the ESPN preview of this event, I asked Curtis Strange and all the broadcasters, Andy North and Scott Van Pelt, what do you make of Harry Higgs' first debut here at Augusta? And they brought up the shirt idea and the fact that, hey, if he tries to pull that on 16, the par 3 here at Augusta, Andy North said he's going to be on Washington Road in less than 2 minutes, kicked out of the tournament, no questions asked. So it's just funny to hear the perspective of a lot of these veteran broadcasters, former players in Andy North's case and Curtis Strange. They know what it's like to play at Augusta. And they, actually Andy told me that it would be fun if you're a golf fan to follow Harry Higgs for just a couple holes on an event like this, because I know you're going to see the big names, right? You're always going to have that. But just to see his personality and the way he reacts to this course, there's a lot of game that he brings to the table. I think you got to remember that too. This is a guy who played, as you said, alluded to, PGA Championship. I mean, top 5. I mean, that is really impressive stuff to get into this field. It's not like he dragged somebody's coattails in to get here. This is an impressive thing.
Right. And he hasn't had a career trajectory kind of like Jordan Spieth, who, was just killing it right out of University of Texas. He has worked his way up with the PGA Tour Latino America, the Korn Ferry Tour, of course, for Harry Higgs, but now he is, and now he's at Augusta, and that is very, very cool. Okay, let's just touch on the other big local storyline here, and that is Tom Watson is an honorary starter at Augusta. He joins Jack Nicklaus and Gary Player. Watson is, it's always a threesome. They've been doing this for a while at Augusta, and last year I think Tom is replacing Lee Elder, who passed away since last year. And Lee Elder, the first Black person to play in the Masters, was an honorary starter last year, but now that honor goes to Tom Watson. Tom, of course, Kansas City, and still lives in Kansas City, is a great ambassador for golf, for the two-time winner of the Masters, 1977 and 1981. As we established, you've covered many Masters. What does it mean to be an honorary starter at Augusta?
Yeah, I mean, just a great honor. And you think about somebody like Tom Watson, who is, to so many of us, he is really a living legend. Like, a lot of my friends, even, I'm in my late 30s. A lot of my friends in their 40s and 50s, they grew up watching Tom Watson. And just to see what he did at Turnberry, almost winning another Open Championship in 2009, that kind of got him back on the radar again. And honestly, it was that stretch in 2015 and 2016 that I absolutely coveted watching. I'm lucky covering Tom Watson. In 2015, the Open Championship, his final one there at St. Andrews. And then 2016, his final Masters, right? I remember asking him in the press center after he finished that round. He obviously missed the cut, unfortunately, on that Friday. And I just said, wow, look at the things you've done. Your final U.S. Open at Pebble in 2010. And I was lucky to see him wipe his tears away there. 2015, there were no tears at St. Andrews as he crossed the Swoken Bridge, his son on the bag. He said that he's always told me life is a series of passages, and you just go through one at a time. And for some reason, he didn't cry his last Open. I don't know how he did it, but afterwards he said it's the next passage for him. And his son told me that it's like he told me at the Masters 2016, which would be the last one for Tom. He said that that was a stage of his life that he's passed on now from, and it's tough to see it go, especially as that's your dad, that's your hero. And it's just amazing to see it happen so quickly. You try to capture it as best you can, and now it's to his final Masters. Now was 6 years ago. It's hard to believe that we're already that far on, but it is, to answer your question, it's a great honor for him to be this honorary star, and it feels right. There's something about going along with Jack Nicklaus and Gary Player. He really does. He does fit that mold.
I've always considered Tom Watson to be part of the Mount Rushmore of great Kansas City sports personalities. Sometimes you wouldn't think of a golfer there, but I'm not sure. I guess without having given it a ton of thought, what legendary golfer is more associated with his hometown than Tom Watson is with Kansas City? It really is a big source of pride that he's a Kansas Citian.
Big time, yeah.
All right, we know Phil Mickelson not going to be in the Masters. Phil's had some communication problems over the last couple of months. What we don't know as we speak is the status of Tiger Woods. He's in Augusta Sunday, but we know he's in Augusta. And he has said it is a game day decision whether he plays. I think we'll know before that. But do you have a sense of whether Tiger would tease it up on Thursday?
I think if he's made the trip all the way here, and I've seen some of the videos of the speed of his swing, I thought he was going to play in the Masters when I saw his swing there at the Hero World Challenge, and he was warming up and getting ready to play with Charlie 2 weeks later, his son, at the father-son. And we saw the speed of his swing. We saw the fluidity of it. I mean, it came to a certain point where it was like, okay, can he walk the course? Oh, no, he can't walk Augusta. He can't walk Augusta. I know that sounds like a challenge, but if that's the biggest obstacle, to get this guy who's wired so differently than anybody else that seems to ever play the game. I mean, come on. He is the ultimate competitor. And when I see people, and I hate to call him out directly, but like I see reporters like Kyle Porter for CBS Sports and him saying, oh, there's no way he's here to win. He knows that it's just a great opportunity to go through the Masters ceremonies. I'm thinking to myself, no, Tiger said he does not want to be a ceremonial golfer. He's here with his caddy, Joe LaCava, and all the effort they've gone through playing, even today, as you said, to his tweet from this morning, he was out there practicing again on Sunday here. And to put all this effort out, why would he do it if he knows that he's not close enough to be able to play? You know what I mean? Why would you put yourself through this and dangle the carrot in front of your face at a course which he won in 2019, and his last round, I think he's 5 under in his last 7 holes. Remember the furious comeback he had after a bad back nine? I mean, think about that. He knows he has the mental edge on every single player in this field, and that may sound outlandish, but this guy he's wired completely differently than anybody else.
His first Masters championship, to me, was one of the great sports moments of all time. Just a young Tiger Woods dominating that course and that field. It was a sight to behold. So I hope he does play. Golf is better when Tiger Woods is playing. And so, again, hope he is involved in it. And I wish good things to Harry Higgs, the Blue Valley North product. And it'll be fun to see him negotiate his first Augusta. So, all right, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we are going to hear an excerpt from the podcast Beyond the Clubhouse that Garrett Johnston produces, and we'll take this opportunity to bid farewell to Garrett. I really appreciate you spending some time with us today, and safe travels to Augusta.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it, Blair.
Hey, it's Blair. We have a special subscription offer for SportsBeat KC listeners. Unlimited digital access to the Kansas City Star's award-winning sports coverage. Sign up now for 1 year of Sports Pass for access to all the sports news, features, and columns presented on the kansascity.com site, and it's only $30. That's a 40% savings off our regular rate. Your subscription will automatically renew after the initial term at $50 unless you tell us to cancel. Your subscription helps support the sports coverage of kansascity.com and the Kansas City Star, and that support has never been more important. Please visit kansascity.com/SportsBeatKC offer to get this special offer. And as always, thanks for listening.
I'm really excited to kind of like hear the dinner chat that we have, or, just sitting around on the couch, like, who did you see today? What did you see? What do you think of this? It's just, it's such a magical place that I'm sure there's going to, this will be something we talk about for years. But everybody will be kind of caught up in the moment, and it'll be fun to hear what everybody experienced day in and day out.
Right. Well, you know what? You're already cutting to the chase of what I really want to talk about here, because I talked to your brother Alex about this. The dinner table conversation, the people that you're going to be with are people that played in a putting contest with you in Kansas City at that Nicholas course. Like, what the hell, man? And you guys are, putting for the Masters. It was all this crazy scenario. Explain this to the audience, bro.
Yeah. So, growing up back home in Kansas City, I really lucked out, and a lot of the friends that I had, met and grew up playing golf with had a huge hand in me being here. Not, necessarily directly, but when we moved to Kansas City, I was 10 years old. We moved right on a golf course. So I wanted to play golf. I started playing, and then I just really lucked in that a lot of the neighborhood kids were around my age, and they would go up there and play, right? I mean, we would, every day after school, when the weather was good, or all throughout the summer, we would all just meet up there and go play golf. One of the things that we would also do, if we couldn't get off on the golf course, or we were just kind of all around practicing, we were almost always together. There was a group of like 5, 6, 7, 8 of us. We would play putting contests, and we would design, we would do the four majors, and we would design the four majors around. And so the way that which we would have these done is you would kind of set up 3 tees, and you would tee off, and everybody would, go, 3 holes, 6 times, right? So it's 18 holes, and whoever was the most under par would win. The Masters was always, for some reason, I think we might have missed the boat here. We could have probably made the putts longer, but we had a big giant putting green with quite a bit of slope. So the Masters would always be the one. It was like 15 to 20 footers with the most break we could find.
Come on, Augusta, baby.
Yeah, the U.S. Open would be obviously just the hardest. A lot of long lag putts. We had kind of like this little bit of fringe that would cut in every now and again. We'd make, design a hole that you'd have to putt it through the fringe, sometimes even putt it through the rough. The British Open, for some reason, we settled on everything needs to be just like short and straight. So we would just have like 8 to 10 footers, and we would all go, 3 tees, go around 6 times. And then again, curious as to how we came up with it, but the PGA would be kind of like a mix of everything. And then we would also, the last hole of the PGA was a par 3, so it was like a lag putt, but if you hold it, you made eagle.
Nice.
None of it really made any sense other than the Masters one where I guarantee you come next week, I'm going to have a 12 to 15 footer that breaks 3, 4, 5 feet. Right. I mean, it's just the way that the place is designed, and the green complexes are incredible. So a lot of the folks we grew up with, playing the putting contests will be there as well. It's just kind of weird how things work out. And when you're, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, I mean, heck, we were doing this up until we all probably left for school. When you get enthralled with this game that we all love and sometimes we hate, and you have great family and friends around you, it's fun to see where it takes you. And, it's just another excuse for us to spend more time at the golf course. So obviously I have benefited from that, and everybody else has as well. But those were fun times. I never won all 4 of them in a row. That was kind of the Grand Slam was what you wanted to do. And there were sometimes later on, as we got a little older, there was kind of another crop of younger 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds that would join us, and there were sometimes we had 12, 15 people in the putting contest.
Oh my god.
So it was a lot of fun. I don't think we ever did too much damage to the green, but it was a lot of fun. We pretty much just took up one section of the putting greens. If anybody was trying to hit a few putts before teeing off, there were times where they couldn't. We had blocked darn near the whole thing off. Fun times, man. It's just that's just golf, and especially golf when you're young. Everybody that asks me, what should I do? My son or daughter wants to go play. Will you take a look at their swing? Who should they go, work with as a coach? I try to back them off of all that and just find ways to make it fun and, have a hint of competitiveness. That's what I did. I kind of lucked into it. I didn't know what I was doing. And I don't know that my parents really knew what they were doing, but they just let us do our thing and made it a little bit competitive here and there. And we just had fun with it. So it'll be fun to play in the real Masters and have some of those folks that were with me, join me next week.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the guys who went to high school, you mentioned high school, Blue Valley North High School.
Yep.
And one of your best friends apparently is going to be out there, I hear, who you play with in that competition there, your little putting green competition. So this has got to be special to have him out there too, right? At your first Masters.
It's I think almost everybody's first Masters. I'm gonna have quite a few friends and family. I invited one of my best friends to come just share the week with me and everyone else. He's going to stay in the house with us. I'm sure he's super excited. And, my now girlfriend, her and I grew up playing golf together. She was part of the putting contest. Her brother and I are very close. We played mini tour golf together. We traveled to, all of the small town USA playing mini tours and Monday qualifiers. He was a part of the group that we were always playing golf together. So yeah, we're a lot of us will be there, and it'll be a ton of fun. It'll be, again, I'm very much looking forward to hearing kind of their thoughts on the place once they get to see it, and just hear the ins and outs of their day. What went on, where did you go, who did you see, all that kind of stuff. That'll be exciting for me. That'll get me away from kind of the task at hand and the enormity of what I am doing and what I am playing in, right? It'll be more just focusing on maybe the little funny stuff that happened to them throughout the day.
Yeah. And also one of your absolute good buddies on tour, Harold Varner III, who I love, is also making his Masters debut. I mean, how special is it for you two to both have that? And have you been texting back and forth going, dude, have you been to 12? This is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. There was he congratulated me forever ago when I when I knew I was playing, and then just this last week he shored up his spot. So sent him a note of congratulations. I don't know how it works for the par 3 yet, and I don't really have a group, but certainly if our schedules link up, Harold's big time, man, but if our schedules link up, it would be fun to, I know Harold, I know his wife well too, and then I would assume his young son will be a part of that as well. So that'd be cool to share with them. I'm not sure. Don't hold me to that yet. I really don't know how any of this works. But yeah, it'd be fun to do that. Fun to have the par 3 with a great friend.
Or even just the nature of the par 3. Like every time I've been there in 10, 12 years, it's just the players are so just giddy to be there. They got family around, friends. You got Jack. It's a living history day. Like, how much are you looking forward to that aspect of the week?
Yeah, it's, I guess kind of it's, I mean, all of next week is pretty much unknown to me. I'm obviously certainly more excited to just play in the golf tournament rather than the par 3, but that's no disrespect to the par 3. And I think I think everybody competes in it because it serves its purpose. Yes, it is truly like living legends come back and enjoy a day on, an unbelievable place. But also it's a way to just kind of go and let your hair down, right? Just smile and have fun. Get all your work done Monday to Wednesday, have some lunch Wednesday afternoon, and then go have some fun. Enjoy it with those that are there with you. Enjoy it with all the folks that, had a hand in getting you to this point. So I am, any time that I can do that next week, I will be very keen to take that up. And certainly the par 3 will be one of those.
That'll do it for today. Thanks to Randy Mason for producing today's show, and thanks to Garrett Johnston for the conversation and for providing a portion of his Beyond the Clubhouse interview with Harry Higgs. You can find a link to that show in our story notes. Plenty of good stuff about the Masters and the sports world in today's Morning Sports Edition. It's 46 pages, and it's yours with a subscription to the Star. Go to kansascity.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back soon with another edition of SportsBeat KC.